Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. It is Tuesday, August 19th. I am Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rall. You are tuned in to the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because obviously we bring you way too much information. We're live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So please be sure to like and follow this show, subscribe to it from whatever platform you're consuming this content on. It goes a long way to really help grow our little channel. On today's show, we're going to be talking about some mostly off the beaten path topics, but one of them we can't avoid. We can't, Ted. It's a news story about the news about MSNBC getting a rebrand, because if anybody, follows, I don't know who really does other than other media people, Ted, but if regular people tune into MSNBC, very soon it won't be MSNBC anymore. They're getting a full rebrand because Comcast or whoever owns them at this point has broken up their own monopoly, and they're trying to like offload the dead weight. And now it's being spun off into a new name, which sucks even worse than MSNBC. And we'll tell you what that is. And why, I don't know, Ted. I have my reasons for dancing on their graves. Then we're gonna do some science-y stuff, and tell you about your disgusting socks. Disgusting. And disgusting pool story, because it's the end of summer, right? You're like, oh, I haven't gone out to the pool in a while. I should do it. The end of summer's coming. I'm gonna hop in that pool. Ew. You'll understand why I'm in that position where I'm one of those people that used to love. I grew up swimming. Yeah, not so much as I became an adult. And now you guys will know that I'm not insane and not that neurotic, because it's disgusting in that swimming pool. Then we got to talk about some crazy stuff out of Paris, the rising temperatures there. This is Ted's motherland,
True.
literally his mother's land. That it is, Ted, these temperatures, 122 degrees is like Dubai temperature. 50 Celsius is literally Dubai temperature.
It is.
That is not good news for all that yummy brie that's there. That's
Ooh, it's
be
not
really
gonna
bad.
last long. Yeah.
It would be bad.
Springtime in Paris ain't gonna be the same.
I know. How tragic. And then last but not least, we're going to tell you about some disgusting toilets.
It's all about grossness, ickiness, and yuckiness today on the
But
TMI
it's
Show,
science.
living up to the name of the show.
But
But you'll
it's
be happy
science.
you knew about all this. This is all stuff that people always wonder about and talk about. So you couldn't ask for more relevant stuff.
It is very much TMI, but it's very sciencey based. Even though it's yucky, it's very sciencey.
Nothing's yuckier than science.
That's true. Nothing is more gross than science. But like, this is why I'm the way I am with germs, because I do follow the science, and not in an Anthony Fauci kind of a way. I mean,
You mean like profitable?
well, that
Highly
too. I have not
profitable.
profited off of any science-backed knowledge, but I actually look at like data and apply that to my everyday life, and I think a lot of people could do the same, Ted. So, with that,
Sure.
let's hop to it.
Well, you saw it on the thumbnail of today's show. MSNBC is getting a new name and logo. Insiders say that employee group chats are buzzing about the rebrand. The cable news TV network will soon be known as MS Now, short for My Source News Opinion World. I'm gonna say it again.
What is that?
It's we're not retarded corporate people at all. My Source Opinion World. The company told staffers, where do you work? I work at My Source News Opinion World.
News Opinion
So,
World.
Manila, what this confirms to me is that the company that is now going to be
It's not
running
multiple sclerosis?
MSNBC, which
Are you
is
sure
it's
the
called
MS part isn't?
Versant. These are people, you know how like in World War II, if
Wait, Comcast is now Versant, or is that like a
Versant is splitting off and taking CNBC, MSNBC, and some other tiny little cable network with them, a little sports thing. And basically, this is a spin-off, right? So that's why they're losing the NBC and they're losing the Peacock, because basically it's like NBC, the ship is sailing, continuing, but it's kind of like, you know, when your boss says we're moving in a new direction and they mean you're not going to be on that direction. That's sort of what's going on here.
So regular
NBC is going in a different direction away from MSNBC. So NBC
regular
will be the
NBC, the terrestrial TV version that we know still exists under Comcast.
Correct. That's how this is. So I think my theory here is if you rename a network that used to be called MSNBC as MS Now and you call it My Source News Opinion World, what that tells me is that you're not from Earth. These are space aliens who are trying to pretend like they speak our language. They're the lizard people underneath their skins. If we approach Versant people and you tear at their skins, you will find the lizard creatures who are trying to pretend to infiltrate our world. They're also changing our temperatures to suit their home planet. Because
that could be true.
Because humans would never say something like my source news opinion world in any of our hundreds of languages. Anyway,
we will make a new TV network. We will call it
The Earthlings will accept this. They are stupid. It will be fine. Anyway, so this rebrand comes as MSNBC prepares to spin off to a new company called Versant. Also pretty retarded. I think Grok came up with that name, along with Comcast's other cable channels, except for Bravo. Several of MSNBC's biggest stars.
Maybe you're saying it wrong, Ted. It might be Versant.
Versant. Could be. Expressed support, naturally, because they're paid to do so, albeit less than they used to be. Joe Scarborough said on the air yesterday, the new logo looks very sporty. And it's like, whoa, like that's not gay at all. And the rebrand away from NBC shows we're independent. Well, okay, you're independent in the same way that I became independent when my father abandoned me. I became independent. But that's exactly what that's like. Okay. Megastar Rachel Maddow said in a statement that if there was ever a time for us to change our name, this is it. Because we're not just separating from NBC News in corporate terms, we're competing with them now.
Well, Ted,
true.
With this new split up, with mom and dad splitting up now,
yeah,
Rachel is going to have her salary reduced from $30 million a year to $25 million. I don't know how she's going to live.
She's going to have to tighten her belt. Obviously, this is going to,
it's like just over $2 million a month.
It's going to make things tough.
I don't know how she is going to survive. I mean, I don't know if she's going to start a GoFundMe. I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know what's going to happen to her. I worry about her.
She's probably going to save money on hair care products because, it takes probably pennies or nickels to maintain that spiky hair of hers.
But haircuts, the cuts are very expensive.
But she
keeps it short.
Yeah, I mean, all lesbians own dogs, so she must have like dog grooming equipment that she can use on her own hair. It's a law. Like you're not allowed to lick pussy unless you have a dog. So
is really
how that is.
Have a dog?
All lesbians have dogs. It's a rule. It's like all cartoonists have cats. It's by law. Even if you don't like cats, you have to have one.
All my male gay friends all have little yippy dogs.
Yeah, that's the law also. All my male gay friends have small dogs under 15 pounds, really under 10. Yeah. They're smaller than my cat. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, like that.
Okay, so Chihuahuas are a favorite, a timeless classic for the gay man. Anyway, 7 current and 2 former MSNBC employees who spoke with Business Insider were less effusive. In other words, the people who are behind the scenes and can speak freely, expressing a mixture of bemusement, uncertainty, and indifference. In other words, they talk to Gen Xers. The new
Yes.
logo features a white flag marked with 2 bold red horizontal lines. By the way, this is totally like they must
Like
have
an equal sign.
I think they probably hired a graphic designer who spent minutes working on
It
this.
sucked, Ted. I was
It's
shocked.
bad. It's really
I
bad.
mean, it literally looks like a blank
And frankly, going
cut
from
out,
that
a
iconic
silhouette of a flag,
going
right? A
from that
silhouette of a waving flag. You could
know what it
just
is?
imagine this.
Manila, you know what this is? This is sort of like you decide there in Virginia to run for city council, and you have your friend Ted come up with a free logo for your campaign sign. And Ted doesn't really want to like spend a lot of time on it because he's a professional. So he's like, but he likes Manila. And he's like, I'll help Manila get elected to city council. So I banged that out in like 45 seconds, like while
Yes.
I'm late for
You're like,
shawarma.
here, my
And
friend.
Here you go. Here you go, Manila. Good luck with that campaign of yours. That's what this looks like.
This is okay. This is for people that are audio only. Just imagine an emoji of any waving flag on your phone, right? Like you can look at your phone right now and pull up an emoji of a flag. Now, blank out any design on it, right? Like a waving flag.
It's
so
white.
it's supposed to be waving.
It's a flag of surrender.
So it's blank. It's all white. And then there's sort of like a red equal sign with the edges kind of tapered off at the end of the
and it's a
equal sign.
pennant, inexplicably, right? As resident vexologist Scott Stantis would say, this is because it has it's not a rectangle. It has the
no, correct. It's supposed to be like a waving flag, like the flag that's behind me. That kind of the shape, like,
yeah,
but it's just a really bad.
It's piss poor, no question about it. So several MSNBC.
So they're being treated like the stepchildren, obviously, Ted.
The very ugliest of stepchildren. They wondered if this focus on blue and red could signal a desire to appeal to both sides of the political aisle, though a longtime employee said they hadn't heard any directives to move away from the network's signature corporate Democrat style. Storied news organizations rarely rebrand since network names convey heritage, trust, and brand identity, says Lily Thaler of Design Bridge and Partners. The MS in the original name stood for Microsoft, although they took off back in 2005 and haven't had anything to do with it in 20 years. They
should do multiple sclerosis. That's what MS is.
That's or Ms. magazine.
Or Ms. That's true.
So changing that to my source is a bold call, said Stephanie Gilmore, head of strategy for North America at Design Bridge. Yeah, bold. You know, the line between bold and dumb is a very thin one in this case, and really in all cases. MS now could build trust by pitching itself as the news source for you, she said. I think she spent about as much time as I did theoretically working on your city council logo there to think about the news source for you. Although I will say the news source for you does beat, what is it? My Source News Opinion World. So it does. It would beat that because it's really about
like
as
any
bad
acronym.
It's unbelievable, actually. One former employee said it was hilarious that MS is outlasting NBC because MS is not involved and hasn't been so long. A third employee said the Now sounds like a streaming service. Very true, because there was HBO Now before HBO became HBO Now. Then they went back to then they became Max,
NBC does have a streaming service. NBC does have a streaming service called NBC Now.
Yeah, it does sound like a streaming service. That's true. Wasn't there a CNN Now like for a hot second also? Two MSNBC.
The CNN thing shut down, remember, after it was 2 months.
Catastrophe. Two MSNBC insiders said viewers' connection with the brand is staked less in its name and more in its on-air personalities. People, they say, sometimes already shorten MSNBC to MS, says no one ever. That's just not true. Right, Manila, help me out here.
That's no. People here in DC call it MS because they just don't. They just don't want to say all the.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. In DC, everybody calls it. Or you're watching MS. You're at least here in DC.
because we
But
always call it MSDNC, right? I mean, to
well, as a
reflect
joke,
their
yeah, as a joke. But
and it's to reflect their ideology. I mean, it's literally the talking points of
obviously,
the Democratic Party slavishly, more than like
oh, for
Pravda
sure.
ever followed the Communist Party of the
Well,
Soviet Union.
well, Joe Scarborough, I think it says that he's going to keep his $8 million. He's only getting paid a scant $8 million, just
Poor
scrimping
Joe.
by.
By the way, that's some, how the white, the cis white straight able-bodied males have fallen, that they are paid less than some lesbian woman. I mean, that is just not right. And not to mention he has to get up at 3 a.m. to go and spew his malarkey.
but his contract is for $8 million.
Do you
So
think he still has sex with Mika Brzezinski?
yeah, she put it on him, Ted. I presume that because they're co-hosts, I presume that his wife Mika Brzezinski also makes $8 million. So between the two of them is
That's a
only
good question.
16.
You shouldn't
16
assume
million.
that. You shouldn't assume that
know
at
I
all.
shouldn't,
Remember,
but
she's kind of like it's Morning Joe and Mika. That's how it is. Mika's
so
an
you think she makes
afterthought.
less?
I bet she makes less. I bet she makes
Let me look.
half
I'm gonna look.
or less. I bet she makes 3. She just shows up and acts blonde. That's all.
But
At least
she's a Brzezinski.
At least she's not destroying an entire country like her father did in Afghanistan.
Well, that's true. Wait, no, she makes $8 million also.
Oh, so they have equity and equality over there.
So between the two of them,
not with Big Rachel.
No, between the two of them, the Brzezinski Scarborough family brings in $16 million, and Rachel brings in 25.
All right. Well,
at her discounted
for
rate
the time being, and that's for both of them. They're going to take a haircut. I don't think
You think they're all going to take
Versant is like, I mean, come on, this network is not long for this world as things currently
No.
stand.
I think people that are obviously in our business, Ted, we know what this means, that they're cutting off dead weight. It's like
this is the end, my only friend,
you have gangrene on your toes, right, from the frostbite. And you're like, well, I gotta save the leg. So I gotta cut off the foot. It's set in. You just gotta cut off the foot to save the leg. So
no, I mean,
right now,
that's what we know how it goes with these corporate spinoffs, right? Whenever they cut up, the main company says, "Good news, we're creating a new spinoff company for the shithole properties." And then you fly free, little bird. They always die a dog's death. Always. That's what always happens. They're being cut loose because they're not profitable. That's the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so Herman Lopez, founder of Owl and Company, was complimentary of the rebrand. Obviously, cannabis is legal, so in New York, so that might explain it. He said, "I think it will catch on. Actually, going from 5 syllables to 3 is a win. Why not just go to 1 and just call it Tonight on it's Rachel Maddow. Thank you for watching
They're trying every which way to spin this.
Hey, it's Rachel Maddow. You know me. I'm the dykey one. That's it.
This is just so like this is okay. I think to be on the network, the short haircut is a must. Like Mika Brzezinski's hair is, like the Karen cut.
Yeah, very severe. Yeah.
Very severe Karen cut. Rachel has
she could have been in
buzz.
In Blade Runner in the original version. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like all the women stars on there have like the very short severe haircuts.
Joy Reid used to have big hair, and then she had to like go down to
but then she became a host, and then she shaved it off.
Yeah, then she had to go to a full cancer.
She went full GI Jane. Yeah. That's like I think part of the contract.
She was. I mean, I gotta say, I like Joy. I've been on her show, and she was nice to me. But that said,
never really cared for her.
But
I liked her better when she was a commentator.
I know you watched the show. Let the hair grow now that you're not there anymore.
I
you
know.
Looked better before.
I know. Really. I'm not a fan of Joy. So that was like the first bloodbath. That was the first iteration of the bloodbath a year ago, I think it was, right? Um, and right around the time that we were all laid off, Ted,
Yes.
but not because of profitability or nobody was watching, because people actually were watching and listening. That wasn't our problem. Joe Biden was our problem, and the war in Ukraine was the problem for
Well, we
us
got some
getting laid off.
questions. So here we go. This is from YouTube. Anamanda Reich wants to know: have you guys heard about the U.S. government sending an Israeli PDF who was caught by the authorities back to Israel?
Oh yeah, yes.
What's a PDF? I think of
Well, I think
Adobe.
that's a typo. I don't know. I don't know what the
The
PD. I mean,
pedophile.
the pedo.
Yeah. I heard all about that.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
That pedo. They
Happens a
cut a
lot.
deal. Well, Ted, I have to wonder if that pedo was that was working. Oh God, where was he? I'm not prepared for this because I didn't
Well,
read it
don't worry about it.
this
Anyway, yeah,
morning.
we heard
But
about
but
it.
I do know the story.
It's
But that Israeli
he was a
pedo,
cyber he was a cyber he was a
right here in
attaché
the U.S.
I believe in DC, maybe not, but
Here, yes, here
he was
here in
and
D.C.
he was a cyber dude and pretty high ranking
Correct. But
and
this
cyber is
leads me to
super important
believe
to the Israelis.
that Israeli pedo
He was in
is
Vegas,
actually a
got
Mossad
swept up.
agent.
He got swept up in Vegas, trying to hit on kids allegedly, and
Disgusting.
yeah, so
And
obviously
somehow he's scot
our
free.
loss is Israel's gain. Maybe he should be sent to Gaza and put him on a diet. Also on YouTube, S. Nodwell wants to know how can these quote unquote journalists earn literally millions of dollars on CNN, Fox, and MSNBC? Well,
Um,
because it's information, it's infotainment. It's not, it's the same
yeah,
reason
but
that star
where's the money
athletes
coming
earning
from?
millions of dollars.
That's the question. Where's the
Oh,
money coming from? I mean,
from
if
it's
commercials
coming from
are
the
drying up,
yeah.
so
Well, they get fees. They get fees from the. Well, they're at a loss, right? That's part of the
right.
problem. This is a market that this is a model that made sense 20 years ago, but it doesn't anymore. And so the answer is they can still, because no one's caught on yet, but they're catching on, and it's not going to last forever, right? So anyway, so I do think we should talk about the meat and potatoes of this story, Manila, which is what if any future. There's not any discussion that they're going to pivot ideologically, so it's going to remain a DNC party organ.
For sure. I think so.
And so basically, like Kamala Harris, she was awesome. And
Best
so
campaign ever.
yeah, it's like it's so unfair and unjust what happens there. Um, right. I mean, and look, obviously look, in a way, branding doesn't really matter in the internet age. Amazon's a terrible name. They're not suffering, right? I mean, there's lots of really shitty company names. eBay, I think it's from East Bay of San Francisco. Like, what?
Oh, yes.
Why is that
Yes.
called that? Nobody knows. I mean, there's tons of stupid names on the internet startups, some of whom do really, really well. So, I mean, there's lots of dumb cable channel names too. So, whatever. OAN, I always think of sounds like onanism. Um, it's
Like, yeah, but then you could have cheese ball names like Newsmax
right. Well, that one's ridiculous. Although, and
or
speaking of Newsmax,
News
you weren't here
Nation.
yesterday, but hey, let me bend your ear. They have to shell out $93 million
I thought
to
it was 67.
oh, maybe it is,
The
but
settlement
a
67
lot
million.
cash to Dominion voting systems in 3 tranches over to be completed by next year. They don't have the money, Manila. They don't have it.
I know.
Could
Oh,
they
let me tell
could they
you.
get gawkered?
Oh, yeah, probably. So let me tell you, when I went to CPAC this year, was it early February? Was it? Where it was like a big nothing burger, like the whole thing. Other than Elon coming out with the golden, not coming out, sorry, it was gifted to him by the Argentine president. And
Naturally.
he was coming out with the golden chainsaw. But outside of that stunt, like it was pretty uneventful. But one thing was very clear. The whole damn thing was pretty much all funded by Newsmax. Everything, everywhere you went, I could not escape Newsmax branding. Everywhere, even down to the hotel room keys, the cards. They had a special hotel room card branded with Newsmax on it. Like every little thing for this event, for this 3-day event,
What a
for the
waste of
conservative,
money.
it was branding all over. Almost
Yeah.
like every booth was covered, like
Well, I
forced
hope
to
they
be
enjoyed
covered.
it.
Well,
And
I mean, that's blowing a lot of money. That's all I got to say is you
well,
go to
not it's
something
not as
like
bad
this,
as
that's a
the tens of millions
lot of
of
money.
dollars for talking shit about a voting machine that really there's no evidence
But
that it
that's
did anything wrong.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's one of two ways I feel like you can look at this is either if you brand yourself as straight news, which I don't think they do. I don't watch them, and I have friends who work there.
Well, they
Um,
do call themselves news.
News Max, but that's the name, but it
They
might
lead with
stand
the
for something.
news.
No, Ted, it
Oh,
might
yeah,
be an
maybe.
acronym.
Oh, like MS Now. Like
Yes,
it could, yes.
you're
So
doing
it
this
could
all
be,
wrong.
yes, it could be National
No,
Electoral
now it's just a bunch of
Wisdom
words. Now, educate, world, sound, max for maximum.
money,
Yeah, so it may
penises,
not be even be news at
Xeroxes.
all.
Yeah,
So yeah, it could be
xylophones.
anything. It could
It could
be
be
like
anything.
xylophone
That
in
would
the
be
X.
better. Xylophone would be better than anything that's in MS Now. All
So
right, we should keep going. Manila, you have a
you
story to
can't you
read.
can't you can't say, Ted, that
You
that
have a go
they're
read.
news.
Go.
So
I
that's
want to hear.
one of two things. That's one of the two things is you have to either allow them to give their opinion and we have freedom of speech.
Manila, time to talk
I
about
know,
the
but you're not letting me finish
socks.
my thought. No, I'm finishing my thought. I'm reclaiming my time.
Mm,
So either we have freedom of speech and you can voice your opinion and you're allowed to do that because this is America,
mm.
or two, you claim to be news, then you have to provide receipts. So I don't know which one Newsmax is. That's all I have to say about that is we don't claim to be news.
I'll be here sniffing
We
my
don't claim to be
socks
news.
while you're.
Oh, don't
Mm.
do that. No, do not do that. Ted's alluding to the next story. Don't
Yes,
don't
I am.
fucking sniff your socks. Please don't. So socks are disgusting. You guys know that. Not because they're old or mismatched or full of holes, but because they're alive and not in the
They're
cozy,
alive.
these socks have been places kind of a way. We're talking full microbial ecosystems, complete with bacteria, fungi, spores, and whatever else your feet have been sweating out since this morning. And if you think a quick wash is enough to erase what's growing in there, researchers say you better sit down. Washing doesn't cut it. The human foot is a microbial dreamscape. The area between your toes has more sweat glands than most places on your entire body, which makes them humid, warm, and full of nutrients. Perfect for bacteria and fungi. Studies show your feet can host up to 10 million microbes per square centimeter. And that diversity, yay, diversity, ends up smeared all over your socks. And it's not just skin bacteria. We're talking about candida, staph, cryptococcus, and the dermatophyte fungi that's responsible for otherwise known as athlete's foot. These microbes metabolize your sweat and the dead skin, pumping out fatty acids and sulfur compounds that give your feet that legendary stench. And you don't smell like that because you worked hard. You smell like that because your sock microbiome had lunch. The real kicker is how portable all of this stuff is. Socks pick up microbes not just from your feet, but from every surface they touch. Locker rooms, gym mats, bathroom tiles, the living room rug. They hold on to the bacteria, they carry it into your shoes, and sometimes into your bed sheets. So in hospitals, slipper socks have been caught transporting pathogens from floors into patient beds, which means your sock hygiene isn't just your problem, it's now everyone else's too. And before you ask, most people aren't washing socks in a way that actually kills any of that. Cold cycles and regular detergent leave a lot behind, especially fungal spores. Even if your socks look clean, they might still be carrying the same germs that gave you a rash last month. Experts say to wash them inside out. So actually turn them inside out. Then
I
with
do that.
enzyme-based detergent at 140 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. So just put them out in the sun, Ted, in Paris, and then you bonus points for sun drying or steam ironing them. So steaming them out. So in one criminal case, forensic scientists matched the soil microbes on a pair of socks to the exact location of a buried body. That's how long all of this stuff can stick around. Isn't that wild?
All right, Jay
Like,
French is saying on YouTube, good for training one's immune system, eh? That's true, Manila, right? I mean, we know that like people who live on farms, which is the grossest place in the world, they end up having very strong immune systems because most
yes,
diseases are come from animals, right? So
the Pennsylvania Dutch, the Amish, they
they're strong
healthiest
people.
people in
Yeah.
America.
I dated a farm girl. She used to never get sick when I was in high school. And I was a sickly kid living in the burbs. You know, that get rid of the antibacterial soap. It's an interesting thing about bacteria, right? Because it's like you do want to like be exposed, but you only want to be exposed a little bit. You don't want to be like
Small
wallowing
doses.
in yeah. You don't be wallowing in
Well, Ted,
contagion. So
Ted, last year, so we're coming up on my 1-year anniversary for the double mastectomy, right? Can you believe it? It's been almost a year. But I thought once I was recovered from that, we had my son's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese.
mm,
And it
that
took a
sounds like
few
a
weeks for.
cesspool of contagion.
That's right. And we believe that's how I contracted the viral meningitis. Remember?
Wow. Yeah, I remember
Because
that.
I
That was
hadn't
rough.
traveled anywhere. That's the only place I was out publicly and near other, especially germ-riddled small humans, was Chuck E. Cheese.
I once
So,
met a guy in a sauna in Iowa. Don't ask, who was a regional supervisor for Chuck E. Cheese, and he was sent to supervise and make sure that Chuck E. Cheese franchisees were doing everything that Chuck E. Cheese is supposed to do. And so I said, and the guy was a young guy, it's hilarious. He was 30 years old. I'm like, so
oh wow.
what exactly, what kind of offenses do you run into? And he's like, you wouldn't believe how many people fuck up the birthday parties. And it's like, Chuck E. Cheese is all about the birthdays. And he's like, yeah, right. So anyway, that's my little Chuck E. Cheese story. Not a great
Well,
story, but
that's
there it is.
I'm curious to know. So, okay, if so a lot of these places like Chuck E. Cheese, like when you go do like they don't even have the ball pit anymore, right? But when they did,
Mm.
no shoes allowed. You have to wear socks. And there's a lot of these places that are socks only.
Well, socks are protect you from bacteria the way that like cloth masks protect you from COVID.
Your neck gaiter, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's okay. So I'm conflicted with that obviously because I was raised with like weird fobby Asian parents and a family that was like bleaching everything and put plastic on everything. And so I struggle with some of that myself because I know that to Jay French's point is that the human like you need to be exposed to stuff um to have a healthy a robust immune system. Um and obviously my immune system was not at its peak because I had just a few weeks earlier, like 3 weeks earlier, had a double mastectomy and I went to
No.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, no, of
So,
course, obviously. Tony, also on YT says, "Good to know. Next time my plane goes down in the Andes, it'll be full of probiotics, important bacteria from
so
its
I
skirmish."
do think, yeah, I know this story is gross, like, but maybe for
But this
immunocompromised
is news you
people,
can use. You got to be careful about
I think
where you
it's
put your feet. You know.
for immunocompromised people like me, and I'm working to get back to not being immunocompromised, that shit is important. But for little children, I think my family was like not okay with me sharing drinks. My family was not okay with like sharing an ice cream cone with my friends or you need that Like, I encourage my kid he actually doesn't like doing those things on his own. I encourage him to do
Well,
those
when we were
things.
kids, our parents would have like chickenpox parties and stuff, like so that
Not
like, hey,
my
it's
family.
time to get chickenpox. It's time under controlled
So
conditions. It is complicated. I mean, I'm a big actually fan of the barefoot lifestyle. When I went to
oh, I
college,
love
I would walk around
all
barefoot,
for it.
even like on campus, even like when it was cold and stuff. In the streets
No!
of New York City. Yeah,
In New York City.
I used to cross Broadway and 116th to go to the newsstand barefoot, people in the snow, and I got to tell you, it really made my
That's
feet
crazy.
strong. Look, human beings have been like walking around like on their feet for millions of years, right? So I'm just so. But on the other hand, you can walk on like your lawn, and like dog feces can leave behind
Yeah.
various disgusting bacteria that can get in through your feet and fuck you up. So I mean, it's just so hard to say. I mean, all I can say is I think this is valuable. I think that for me, the real takeaway is people don't wash their socks right. Only in very recent years, I realized, oh, you have to turn your socks inside out because all of your gross sweat is on the inside far more than it is on the
Yeah.
outside. And the waters might not permeate well all the way to the inside. So you turn them inside out. It is true that if you can sun dry, that's better.
Mr. Lee says I'm too westernized. But no, I think it's like very East Asian that my family like wrapped everything in plastic and like had me be bubble girl. I think
That's true because that's how
I
they
don't know if
do it
that's
over there. If you walk around
yeah.
on the streets of any Asian city, everyone's been wearing masks way long before
Oh yeah.
pre-COVID.
Masks
Um,
and gloves, driving gloves,
you've
like the
noticed that
giant
like
bonnets.
now, and Asians here are the last mask wearers, right? So,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I still have family members who are mask wearers. I personally think we need to go back to pre if we're doing the whole Asian thing, I would prefer my kid go back to pre-modernization of Asia where he was like strong like ox and like can till the fields with fucking water buffalo and being barefoot, like
yeah, they had to be
that would
barefoot because I mean, your socks aren't going to help you in the rice fields.
yeah, my
You're
great
standing there
grandfather,
all day long with like trench foot.
for example, my maternal great grandfather outlived his son. My mom's dad outlived his son, and he smoked cigarettes every day of his
Mm.
life, drank Johnny Walker every day of his life, but he worked in the fields, had his small farm, ate natural, and he lived to like 106.
All right.
Like no cholesterol problems,
We
no
have we
lung
have more
problems.
gross stories to get to, Manila. We gotta move on
I
here.
say we go back to that.
You shouldn't pee in the pool, but you probably do it anyway. But at what
Gross.
cost? Do you even know? There's no hard and fast
Gross.
numbers on how often people pee in the pool, but at least one survey finds that 40% of American adults fess up to peeing in the pool. Doesn't seem like they're exaggerating. Older research in the journal Environmental Science and Technology Letters analyzed water samples from 31 pools and hot tubs and discovered that a 220,000-gallon pool contained about 20 gallons of pee. When I remember when I went to the public pool in Kettering, Ohio, they used to say there was a sign that claimed that if you peed in the pool, a special dye would be triggered and you'd be publicly shamed.
Oh yeah.
That turns
I
out
remember
to
those.
kids that's not true. With that, the odds of you swimming in pee this summer are very high. And while it's gross, is it bad? What happens if this happens even one time? So here's what happens. A big issue is the interaction of urine with the chemicals that are in the pool. When human urine combines with chemicals that are present in chlorinated swimming pools, potentially harmful compounds called disinfection products, or DBPs, can form, according to Dr. Kelly Johnson Arbor, toxicologist at MedStar Health. Urine naturally contains nitrogen containing compounds like urea, ammonia, and creatinine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that one right.
No, that's right.
Johnson Arbor explained these nitrogen-rich compounds can react with chlorine or other disinfectants found in pools to form DBPs that can cause harmful health effects. Chlorine specifically forms something called chloramines when it binds to human waste like pee, according to the CDC. They build up in the water and off gas into the air. And it's not just pee. Chlorine interacts with many kinds of organic matter, according to Thomas Mellandy, associate professor of microbiology and immunology and biochemistry at the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at the University of Buffalo in New York. Say that 10 times fast. The reason it's put in pools is to act as an antibacterial and antiviral. It helps to keep the pool clean and non-infectious. So, from an infectious disease point of view, peeing in a well-chlorinated pool isn't really the issue. Pooping is a major issue. I don't think that happens that much. Caddyshack being exempted, according to Dr. Thomas Russo, professor and chief of infectious disease at University of Buffalo. While urine isn't sterile, some people think it is, but it ain't. Most people don't carry major pathogens in their pee that chlorine can't handle. The chloramines are the issue, according to Melody. Anytime chlorine interacts with organic matter, I guess that could issue. That would also include like your skin tissue that falls off and whatever. It makes chloramines. The more chloramines that are produced, the more likely your skin, eye, and lungs could be irritated. Bigger issue for people like me who have asthma and other respiratory issues. So chloramines are the issue. It's super interesting that basically the pee is not going to hurt you really by itself. It's the fact that it's interacting with the chlorine. Ironically, so if you're like in a pee-filled lake or pond, that's not an issue at all. Or if you don't have chlorine in the pool, but then, if you don't have chlorine in the pool, the pool isn't that clean. This is all a way to say that there's no escaping it. Life is gross and you're going to get hosed.
Wait. So you're saying the science shows that the chlorine
bonds with the
pee,
and then
makes it all worse.
And that's why sometimes when you come out of a pool, you might feel a little itchy because you'll have a skin irritant on you. I always assumed it was the chlorine itself.
I thought it was too,
but it's not. And I guess that makes sense because when I had my own pool, which of course I did not pee in.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I mean, it was also like in the woods. So if I wanted to pee, I could just step outside of the pool and walk 3 feet and just pee on the ground.
Well, yeah, you're a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the point is,
well, girls can pop a squat. It's
sure,
normal,
but it's a little more challenging. So
but,
anyway,
but Ted,
like,
I
never got irritated. I never got irritated from
from your own pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I didn't have a pool, but my best friend growing up across the street, she had a pool. That's where I learned to swim. And we were always very good it was not okay to pee in that pool. So obviously I never had a problem with it.
Of course, obviously.
No, we don't know. But I mean, but that's how I was raised. So, she and I and our friends, like it was always a point.
Though, when I see someone like leaning up against the edge of the pool, and they're like
not moving.
Yeah, just they're not moving, and they're kind of like a little too relaxed. I'm like, j'accuse. We have a comment here from Tony J. Yeah, when I went to the doctor for pink eye, he said, toilet paper doesn't really do a good job of removing fecal matter.
Like, that's the last story. That's the last story.
All right.
No, yeah. That's the last one, not the next one.
All right, let's move on. Imagine
I'll do the toilet story. I'll do the toilet.
You'll do that one. Imagine Paris at 122 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 Celsius. The asphalt streets would melt in spots, making it virtually impossible for ambulances and buses to pass. The lights and fans could cut out neighborhoods if underground cables burn or junction box shift. Cell phone service could go down as antennas on boiling rooftops stop working. Trains would come to a stop as outdoor rails swell, keeping nurses, firefighters, and electricity engineers from going to their jobs when and where they're most needed. Those are all situations Paris city officials are getting ready for. A heat wave at 50 degrees is not a scenario of science fiction, according to Penelope Comites, a deputy mayor who oversaw a crisis simulation a couple of years ago based on those presumptions. It's a possibility we need to prepare for. France has recently experienced the second heat wave of the summer, with temperatures reaching record highs last week in the southwest. Heat alerts covering 3/4 of the country. In Paris, this is the new normal. 8 out of the 10 hottest summers ever recorded since 1900 have occurred since 2015. In 2019, temperatures hit a record nearing 109 degrees. Scientists say that it'll get worse. It's never been 109 in New York ever. But it's because climate change is warming Europe at more than twice the global average. In 2022, city officials asked climatologists if Paris might experience heat waves that reach 50. The answer was yes, possibly by the end of the century, or maybe in the next 25 years, if greenhouse gas emissions increase exponentially. But the scientists' modeling showed that scenario was unlikely if all the countries stick to the Paris Climate Accord. Okay, well, in that case, we can just assume, since there's been no progress whatsoever toward the Paris Climate Accord, that in the next 25 years or sooner, we will see that. I don't think we should bet on that as a society, said Alexandre Florentin, Green City councillor and environmental engineer who spent more than a decade working at Carbone 4, a leading French climate change mitigation and adaptation firm. He led a committee of city lawmakers from all political parties to take a look at the capital's vulnerabilities to extreme temperatures. They published their report, Paris at 50 degrees Celsius, in 2023, separate from the climate simulation. They found there were temperature thresholds that could cause widespread breakdowns of the city, leading to cascade failure. During an interview with a hospital director, for example, Mr. Florentin learned that the medical center's AC system was designed only to work when the outside temperature was 109 or below. Any higher, and it would break down. The hospital would have to shut down its ORs and send urgent cases over to other hospitals. And what would happen if they had the same problem? Florentin said they didn't have an answer. So
wait. So their air conditioning shuts down because it's too hot?
Yeah, basically it's just too much strain. I mean, I've had that happen. Like if my units just can't keep up, it literally just stops working. Haven't you ever been to like a hotel or a motel where there'll be a sign like, don't put the temperature below 67 degrees. If it does, like the unit may stop functioning completely. So that's what happened. It just overloads.
Oh, well, I keep my house in the summer at 77.
Oh, that's much hotter than I would keep my house. I'm a 72 degree man myself, but not at night.
Cold
65 at night for sure.
Well, that's what they say for better sleep, for sure. Is like, but I don't at sleep. I take it down to 72 at bedtime.
Oof.
But I'm a Californian. Like I'm used to anything
and women
outside of that range.
Generally like it warmer than men.
Yes.
Yeah. And Asians generally like it warmer than whites.
Yeah. I mean,
I remember having this battle with
near
my
the
Asian
equator
female ex-wife, and she was like very comfortable. For her, like if it was 78, that was a nice day. For me, 62, that's a nice day.
It's colder Nordic blood versus equatorial blood.
True.
I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think.
Well, there's more of
when
you guys.
You sleep,
so technically, we're the weird.
We're the majority of the world.
That's right.
But yeah, the air. So if Paris is getting this hot, I mean, what?
I mean, Paris.
What
Paris
the hell
was the city of Lutèce, right? When it was part of the Roman Empire, it was part of the province of Gaul. Paris, modern day Paris, was known for its shitty weather. It rains a lot. It's foggy a lot.
I remember it being cold in the springtime in Paris.
If you fuck up,
early spring.
If you were if you were in the Roman government and you fucked up, they'd like reassign you to Paris. It was like a shitty assignment.
Yeah, but was it shitty hot like this? Because
no, of course not. No.
Okay.
So this is new, and look, let me just say, France is generally not set up for extreme temperatures. It's
I see.
It rarely snows in Paris ever historically.
Yeah.
It can, but it's unusual, and it's not like it doesn't stay, and it's not
right. I remember it being
much.
Cold though in early spring, like March, April.
And so it was kind of like generally temperate. I mean, you could definitely. I've sweat like balls in Paris because it's polluted and hazy, and it can definitely be humid and like 90. No problem. But this is a whole different level, Manila. It's like this is really crazy. I mean, and it's a 1500.
And I don't remember a lot of
city.
AC units. Yeah, I was going to say I don't remember a lot of AC units.
There aren't
in places in
and it's
in
not
Paris.
A very modern city. I mean, again, another reference to my ex. When she had a year abroad when she was in college, and and it was the early 80s, and she still stayed in a cold water flat and to take a shower, she had to go in Paris. She had to go to the public baths that still existed.
What's a cold water flat?
It means there's no hot water coming out of the of the faucet.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen any, or in New York City, you'll sometimes in the East Village, in old tenements, you'll see an apartment that still has the bathtub in the kitchen. And people are always like, why is there a bathtub in the kitchen? That doesn't make any sense.
Because you're pouring hot water.
It used to be a cold water flat. So you're
boiling.
You boil hot water and you fill up the tub that way. Yeah. So you don't have to keep
Oh my
going
God.
back and forth to the
so that's the thing,
bathroom.
right? With Paris, or not just Paris, but France generally being an old country for the most part. It's not a lot of new buildings. The exteriors are usually maintained as such. And maybe not the hotels, but a lot of like the buildings that people live in, you'll see the old window units or whatever that people, like have the AC units like hanging out over their
they usually
their window.
In France they have those ones that go up on top, like they drill
on the wall. Yeah, those
through
are the newer ones.
Yeah, the big
that you can
big
mount
horizontal ones. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
actually really
remember.
good.
I remember for that one small room, and I remember being surprised. And I've been to France a few times, like maybe 3 or 4 times, but I remember being feeling surprised, me coming as an American, and at the time I was living in Dubai, where everything is new, right? And the carbon footprint is is massive with our indoor ski slope, like
Oh yeah.
so.
It's
So
the
me
Vegas
coming
of
from
the Middle
LA,
East.
yeah. So me coming from LA, then going to live in Dubai, then visiting France for work, I was kind of surprised at how not modern it was. And this was like the early mid 2000s, before we hit the 20 teens. Um, I remember I remember how surprised I was with Paris in particular being, this vaunted beautiful city of lights,
Mm.
of how fucking hot it was because no one had air conditioning at restaurants, at cafes. Um, like I was shocked. So now that this is becoming a problem, I have to wonder about their infrastructure and what they're going to do. Because remember, for the Olympics last year, Ted, you and I had talked about the planning and stuff, and they were trying to clean up the Seine.
Oh yeah,
So
good
you
luck
could
with
swim
that.
in it.
They've been working on that for 2,000 years.
Talk about
They used to dump their
microbes.
feces, and speaking of which, their feces and their piss upstream from the city of Paris. They couldn't figure out why everyone was fucking dying. It
Upstream.
was a squalid city. Yeah, for sure. Paris is gross, actually. And
But remember, they were trying to clean that up so that way the athletes could have their competition in the Seine, and then it ended up like they couldn't do it, and they spent like billions of dollars.
They had test people swim in there. They got covered with rashes and stuff.
To put they tried to do like a whole sump pump thing, like in the.
You can more successfully swim in the Hudson River here in New York than you can in the Seine, for sure. I mean, your biggest danger in the Hudson is the currents are very fierce and you could be swept away. But
wouldn't that make sense if the Seine was able to be cleaned up to combat the heat that's going to grow in France, so that way people can cool down and
sure
go to the river?
But I mean, I have to say, honestly, I mean, realistically, once you start to hit temperatures of 122, unless the city is reinvented from the ground up, like Dubai, it's going to become untenable to live in Europe. I mean, Europe is facing, some models show a new ice age, right? And then other models show a, this kind of like the whole place burning up. And it's not just Paris, right? It's going to be all of Europe, and particularly Western Europe. And you know who's going to be laughing? The Russians. Their temperature is going to become like moderate. They're going to be like they're going to be like, Siberia's nice now. But
that could be. All right. Last story. Am I doing this one? Yeah. Okay. So last one's about toilets.
I love this.
So as you sink down onto a toilet seat used by hundreds of other people the same day, we're talking about public toilets, you might be wondering, how long do pathogens survive on the toilet or just in the bathroom? So once you set foot in a public toilet, if it can be impossible to resist the overwhelming feeling of ick, the sight of urine splattered on the toilet seat and the floor, the pungent scent of somebody else's bodily fluids, it can really slam against your senses. You might open the stall door with your elbow, flush the toilet with your foot, or drape the entire seated toilet paper and execute a squat if you find the whole thing too gross to, have it touch your bum. But you can't actually catch disease from merely sitting on the toilet seat, can you? Or are the elaborate techniques some people use to avoid contact completely unnecessary? So here's what the microbiologists actually say. What you probably won't, we won't catch. Quote, theoretically, yes, you can catch diseases from the toilet seat, but the risk is vanishingly low, says Jill Roberts, a professor of public health and microbiology at the University of South Florida. Take STDs. Most of the bacteria and viruses that cause them, from gonorrhea to chlamydia, cannot survive for long outside of an organism's body, let alone on a cold, hard surface like a toilet seat. That's why it's thought that the majority of STDs and only be transmitted via direct contact with the genitalia, with the exchange of bodily fluids. Now, one would have to be unlucky enough to transfer someone else's fresh bodily fluids immediately from the seat to the genitalia, either by hand or toilet paper, to be at risk,
That
she
could
says.
happen.
I mean, it could, but so she says, she goes on, so while it's good to be cautious and maintain hygienic practices, such as avoiding toilet seats that are obviously contaminated, it's not something that should keep you up at night. Quote, if toilet seats could easily transfer STDs, we would see them frequently across all age groups and in people with no history of sexual activity. Similarly, Roberts says you're unlikely to catch a bloodborne disease from a toilet seat.
I don't
For a
know about
start,
this. I know a
blood.
dude for sure who got he was a virgin and he got herpes from his brother's towel. Just saying.
Well, oh.
Okay.
So for starters, she thinks that if you see, then you can avoid somebody's blood, obviously, if it was on the
Yeah,
toilet
gee,
seat.
who needs this article to tell them not to sit on a blood-soaked
A bloody
public
toilet.
toilet seat? I mean, seriously, if you're that retarded, you deserve anything you have coming. Anyway, yeah.
In any case, it would not easily transmit bloodborne pathogens in the absence of sexual activity or injection with contaminated needles, she says. Remember, this is a doctor. It's equally unlikely that you would catch another person's UTI, urinary tract infection, from the toilet seat. You only get UTI if it's transmitted through feces from the toilet seat to the urinary tract. But a large amount of feces would be required. A large amount. I don't know what she doesn't really
Yeah, what is
define.
a large amount?
She doesn't
Like a
define.
gallon? Like a
I
bucket?
don't know,
A
but I
barrel?
don't know. She doesn't define what that
Uh-huh.
means.
Mhm.
She says it's much more likely that you develop a UTI by wiping your own poop too close
Mhm.
to your genitals. So if you're wiping in the wrong
Always from
direction,
back,
ladies,
from front to back. Remember that, people.
yes, go front
Toward
to
your
back.
tail. Yeah.
Yes, don't wipe backwards to front because then you're bringing the bacteria. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Ladies, that's primarily for ladies because for you guys, Ted, I don't. That would be really hard because you guys would be traveling and going around parts to get to the hole where the pathogens could travel into. For us, it's much more
Yeah. True.
easily feasible.
True.
So, ladies, don't wipe backwards. Go that way, front to back. And there's some exceptions, she says, of longer lived STDs like HPV that causes genital warts that can stick around for up to a week on surfaces.
Okay, so you can absolutely get STIs from toilet seats. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, but not the vast majority of them, just HPV.
Well, that's no fun. Anyway.
I know. So she says these viruses are very small and they have very stable protein shells that give them a longer shelf life.
Yummy.
That's a different professor at a university in Nevada. HPV tends to be resistant to hand sanitizers and requires a concentration of 10% bleach to destroy them because they're that tough because of that protein shell around HPV. But this other professor says HPV is typically only transmitted via sexual skin to skin contact, such as oral,
typically,
anal,
except for
and
that
vaginal
toilet
sex.
seat, like in New York public park that hasn't been washed in a week, and certainly never with bleach ever.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Similarly, in theory, someone with genital herpes who is having a flare up could shed virus onto the seat, and subsequent users might be at risk if they have broken skin or they're immunosuppressed, immunocompromised. The clinical lead, a different professor, says, yeah, it's not likely, but it can happen.
Yeah, it's unlikely. Lots of people are immunocompromised. A lot of people have broken skin. I mean, what?
So draping the toilet seat with toilet paper before sitting on it, according to research from YouGov in a poll, around 63% of Americans sit down when they use a public toilet, but around half of those first line the seat with toilet paper.
I used to be one of those.
The same poll found that around 20% of people squat instead.
That's me now.
However, a layer of toilet paper will likely not protect you from pathogens because obviously TP is porous. Hello. So I knew that a long time ago. So I practiced the squats. Yeah. So the actual problem, the risk of catching diseases in the bathroom in general doesn't come from your genital contact with the toilet seat. Rather, it comes from your hands touching the toilet seat and becoming contaminated with bacteria or viruses.
I use my shoe to touch the toilet seat.
Yeah, I try not to use my hands to touch anything when I walk into a public bathroom.
I flush with my shoe. I lift I handle
for sure.
The seat with my shoe. Yeah.
Because now we've just learned that HPV isn't killed with hand sanitizer.
Then that brings us full circle back to the socks story. So,
remember, I do the Asian no shoe household.
Mm-hmm.
I have house slippers, like home shoes that I wear. So does everybody in the house. And the two shall never cross paths.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for that reason. And yeah, the whole hand sanitizer thing, there's good and bad, Ted, because like we said earlier, the Amish and stuff, like they're exposed to a lot of natural pathogens and they have a more robust immune system. Their children are far more healthy than the rest of us out here in non-Amish country. And I just wanted to point out our buddy Scary Girl. She points out about the worst toilets. She had something really funny to say. Train Spotting, the movie where you get nailed with the worst toilet in Scotland.
I remember.
Stop that. I dare you. Yeah, that's true. That's some disgusting toilety stories. Let me see.
I don't agree with this whole like. Okay, I'm not a girl, obviously, but like it. The whole like. It's bad for you to squat. And you can get a UTI that way. I mean, I think it's important.
You can't.
I think squatting's good. I mean, it's like that's how
I
human
agree.
beings have been doing it for forever. And that's why there's the squatty potty lifestyle, where you.
Yeah, but you're still sitting. You're still sitting on the toilet. The squatty potty only raises your feet to be in that position.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you,
when you're in the woods and you like. Really
you
like
have
squat old school.
Like you were in the woods?
Things get super open. Things get very like, things are smoother. You get a better experience.
Oh, well, let me tell you, the first time I pulled over in the middle of, I don't know, between what Emirates I was in, like going from Dubai to, I don't know which, I don't know, like maybe Sharjah or something. I don't know. But anyway, I pull over, I need to use the bathroom, and I go to this lonely little gas station in the middle of nowhere. I see wild camels.
Imagine.
I see wild camels running around still, and I'm kind of like, well, I mean, it can't be like American gas stations, right? It can't be gross or okay. So it was fine. So they give me the key, I open it, and it looks like a shower stall with a hole in the ground and a hose.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is.
And I'd never seen anything. I mean, I was in my 20s, so I'd
So it
never
wasn't the
seen
official
anything like that.
Turkish style with the 2 places for your feet. You know what I'm talking about. There's the one, the
No.
Turkish style is on the floor and it's ceramic, and it's basically like an ellipse, and you put your feet on both sides. There's a spot for your feet clearly, and then you squat
Oh.
down, but it's at floor level. That's like in Turkey. That's what they have, and it's why it's
Oh.
called that.
Well,
But
so
you'll
this
find them all over the place.
this was just it was a room that had that and a sink opposite of
Yeah, you're supposed to use the
this
hose to
hole
wash down anything that doesn't quite make it into the hole.
and to spray your booty. But I was new there at the time, and I'd never,
Oh, no
I'm a
TP.
Westerner. There was no TP.
That's
I
that's
freaked.
the Indian lifestyle. That's how they roll. They
So
don't have TP.
I was new to all of this. I was in my 20s. I was still young, and I'd never experienced anything like that. So I had to go. So I did like they do in the Emirates, and I thought, okay, the sprayer, like, but now I have a wet butt and I have to pull up my pants, and okay, and now, like, okay, so I do the whole thing, but remember, the all the hotels, all the apartments are equipped with bidet sprayers, like the hose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even like my fancy high rise
Hold that thought. Robbie's going to be
apartment.
mad if we don't read this ad. You've probably noticed
Okay.
Rumble is growing fast and not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts its creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble's offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code studio at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code studio. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. Anyway,
All right. So last thing I'll say about that, Ted, and we'll go, is that so back then, because I was, young and still not very cultured and not well traveled at the time, I remember thinking like, this is barbaric. This is horrible. Like, what are they doing to me? Like, what are
Well,
they
at least you had a
subjecting me
hose.
to?
I've been to places where there was no hose, just a hole, and no toilet
So,
paper.
okay. So fast forward to now, right? Almost 20 years later, I've traveled quite a bit. I've seen cultures, I've done studies, and now I understand that that's actually better for you. The ergonomics of squatting over the hole
Oh yeah.
and and the sprayer, like my
Well, I think
house is
for
equipped
pooing,
with
for sure,
sprayers.
it's better. For
Oh,
sure,
for sure.
yeah.
But my house is now equipped either with every toilet has either a hose on it or the new fancy um toilet seat that has the little thing that comes out and
Mm,
psh, and sprays.
the Vaginator 4000.
Well, yeah, you have to really modulate the water level. Let me just tell you, ladies.
Low Aller
But
says on YouTube, squatting is also good for body to eject most of the stuff. It's the
that
natural
is
way.
true because it's the position that you're naturally supposed to be in.
Mm.
And I have learned now that it is way better to spray your butt with water than to keep smearing your poop around with toilet
Yeah,
paper.
yeah. Toilet paper it really doesn't make sense. I will say that said, because we are socialized to use toilet paper.
Turns out we in America are the barbarians,
We
Ted.
are the barbarians. However, if you must use toilet paper, bamboo toilet paper is the least smeary. It sort of
Really?
it doesn't just move it around. It's like, it actually absorbs.
Yeah, I'm all about the bidet spray life.
No, I mean,
That's
but then
all
what
I
do you
gotta
do when
say.
you're on the road? Then nothing you
I
can
just
do.
don't go on the road anymore after COVID. It just changed my life. I just I just don't go anymore.
Sometimes you
But
gotta.
I know. And with that,
To
you
me, the
gotta just
roughest the
tough it up.
roughest poo is the airplane because it's so cramped. I'm not gonna sit down on that thing. I can barely get my pants down in that little
No, I
thing,
never
and then I've got to like hover in this space where, like, I don't understand
mm-mm,
this the Mile High Club in the I can't even get me in there. Who am I
no.
going to fuck in there too? I can't. There's
I
no
can
way.
barely when I take my my first grader into to potty, even
Yeah,
when he was like 2 years old, to go into potty or change his diaper, like, how does anybody fit? Yeah, no. So that makes no sense to me. And I'm not a large woman, Ted, like, you can vouch, I'm a
true.
small woman.
That's true.
Like, if I could barely fit with a toddler in the bathroom, how does
Yeah.
that work?
What the fuck is Chris Christie doing?
Oh my gosh.
Or Trump?
Oh,
That's why he has to bring
no,
his own
no,
toilet
he has
everywhere
this
with him.
I'm sure he has, like, a giant toilet in Trump Force One or Air Force I
I'm
bet
sure.
Air Force One has, like, a full-size bathroom.
I bet it does. Yeah, it
But what
has
is
full
you're
size
right.
everything.
What does Chris Christie do? Because he ain't got a jet.
Yeah, yeah. There's no, no. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Air
Well,
Force
that I don't know.
266.
All I
Um,
know is that it's nasty. Toilets are nasty. You can definitely pick up some viruses. So even though this article that we were reading was trying to spin it off, like it's not that bad. You can't
yeah,
really like
I love that
get
where they say like it's unlikely. You and I have both been the victims of things that are unlikely.
yeah.
Everybody does, right? It's unlike. It's like, it's
It's a spin.
it was unlikely, that like I'd be smeared by the LA Times, and yet it happened. It was unlikely you would get breast cancer, yet you did. Lots of things are unlikely. It's ridiculous to say that. Like,
So this article I'm gonna give a thumbs down to because they're not and the professors, the fuck is wrong with these professors? They're promoting people to go sit down on
no.
public toilet seats.
Now I would say there is one advantage to encouraging people to sit down because a lot of people aren't good hoverers. And then you get like a whole explosive diarrhea all over the place kind of situation. And so it's better to limit the damage by for those people, they should be required to sit down. If you don't have good balance or good aim, you're required to risk the genital warts and sit down
Yeah, no,
by
okay. And
law.
last comment we'll read from YouTube viewer Lo Aller. They're talking about how in the Arabic world that you use your left hand for toilet duties
Yes.
and the right hand for eating. Yes, that is a
And the
thing. I
right
was
hand
taught
for
that.
shaking hands. Never shake
Shaking.
anyone's hand with their left hand. No, ever.
I've also seen, and this is everywhere, everywhere I've been, I'm secretly like bathroom monitor watching
I
and
bet
I
it's not
take
secret.
note.
I bet it's not secret at all.
I
There was a
watch the people just walk out
there's a
without
Far Side cartoon where a guy comes out of the bathroom and there's a big blinking neon sign over the door that says "Didn't wash hands."
Yes. Yes. So there's that. All right. So that wraps it up for this gross Tuesday
But very
conversation.
useful.
It is very useful and it was very scientific. I
Yep.
mean, although Ted, I really would love to debate these like professors that
Oh,
are
me
telling us
too.
to
Yeah.
go sit down.
No, they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine, probably.
Yeah,
I love
like
it when someone's
who
like, it'll probably be okay. Like driverless cars, it'll probably be all right.
who
You
is
might kill
funding
one.
their research?
It might be you gets run over by one, but it's
Ted,
overall it'll be okay.
I want to know who's funding like the research at this university in Nevada, at like Toro University in Nevada, or this other professor at the
This is
university in South
Manila.
Florida.
This is a conspiracy of big toilet seat.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
yeah.
Is this like their study, their department is funded by Kohler? Like what who is funding them that they're telling us it's okay to just sit down? on that toilet. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Just sit. Sure, it might be smeared with feces and blood, but you're fine.
And a few little genital warts never killed anyone.
Oh my God.
You know?
Oh my
hey,
God.
hey, some girls like that. You can become the French tickler. Anyway, all right. With
Oh
that,
God, this is so disgusting.
we go.
So disgusting. With that, we're out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for staying with us through this disgusting talk. We'll be back for maybe we'll find some weird stuff for Wednesday, Weird News Wednesday.
Always.
Always weird conversation. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Deprogram with me and Kiriakou, 5 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay. Deprogram.
Bye.
Those two. Adios. Bye.